Hey guys, this is Dakota Knuckles-Malone. I co-founded Community Solar Authority. We've unlocked access to over $50 million in future energy savings using this piece of state-level legislation. I just wrote this article, and it is talking about how large energy users or anchor tenants drive community solar industry growth through participation. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why community solar sounds too good to be true, but is actually true. And I'm going to start by telling you exactly what we do for our clients. We work with municipalities, fortunes, public companies, private companies, and large energy users alike in the state of Illinois, and we do three things for them. One, we help get them educated on community solar. Two, we source available projects that are off-site that they can subscribe to in exchange for lower energy costs. And three, we help them implement the program so that they actually see bill credit savings by getting their questions answered, going to board meetings, solving legal reviews, and answering Q&A. And if you can imagine, community solar requires a ton of education to stakeholders, board members, finance departments, and that's why we are showing up to board meetings. We are speaking on stages and answering Q&As live. That's why I run the top community solar podcast on Spotify. And it's ultimately why I'm creating this piece of content right now. In this video, I aim to walk you to the bottom line of the community solar conversation, which is community solar is worth executing. To start, let's talk about the bottom line truth. Because the way that I see it, large energy users are ultimately responsible for supporting community solar industry growth, especially in the state of Illinois. And here's what I mean. Traditional project financing for a community solar farm requires committed subscribers before they go and build it. So a developer can't walk into a bank and ask for a loan to build a solar farm and capture these incentives by just saying, hey, trust us, people will eventually subscribe to this. Investors need certainty. Banks need contracted revenue. What bridges that gap is a large energy user or an anchor tenant who commits to a majority share of that solar farm. It works exactly the same in commercial real estate. If you have a strip mall and Walmart is in the middle of it, that is an investment grade entity that is serving as an anchor tenant, and then the strip mall is backfilled with smaller stores. Community solar farms work the same exact way. An anchor tenant will subscribe to a project, and then it is backfilled with residential and small commercial customers who are also subscribing to that same farm. Same discount, same idea. But by an anchor subscribing before the project gets built, which is totally normal, three things happen. One, it supports the financing of the project. A contracted anchor tenant mitigates risk on the capital raise. Developers can secure better terms, attract better investors, and actually get shovels in the ground. Without the anchor tenant participating, progress would have never happened. Two, it triggers environmental progress. Every project that gets built is megawatts of clean energy on the grid. Without the anchor, the project sits in development limbo. With the anchor, it becomes real. Municipal buildings, school campuses, corporate facilities, and more subscribing to community solar are literally the reason these projects exist at all. And then three, it creates local jobs and community-based wealth. Community solar farms are built locally, operated within the utility territory, and generate state-level economic activity. Think construction, maintenance, grid management, and long-term energy savings that ultimately stay in the state, stay in the local utility market compared to flowing to out-of-state utilities as an example. Our team at CSA has always saw anchor tenants as the tipping point and the difference between projects not being built and clean energy actually being deployed into the grid. And that's why we focus for over the last half decade of being in business of exclusively helping large energy users get educated, find available projects, and implement it into their energy strategy. Here's why this is actually worth executing. And this is the part that trips people up. The very first thing we hear when we're first talking to an organization about community solar is this sounds too good to be true. Let me show you why it isn't. So state governments like Illinois and New York have set aggressive renewable energy commitments. They ultimately want to build and deploy clean energy onto our grids to be able to reach a 100% renewable energy goal. In order to hit those targets, community solar projects need to be built. And to get those farms built and subscribed, they need a functioning market, meaning they need to have people want to participate. There needs to be some sort of net benefit to them. So the incentive structure is designed in a way that makes participation attractive. Again, when community solar projects get built, the state of Illinois gets the renewable energy credit so they can support their energy commitments. The developer gets state and federal incentives. And as a subscriber, in exchange for helping clean the energy grid, you get to keep a portion of those benefits too. Your portion is in the share of a utility bill credit, which simply put is worth more than what you pay for it, and the net difference are your savings. Here's an example from a talk I recently gave. If you have $1 million in qualified energy spend at a 10% discount based on 90% of your total spend, which is how we like to size community solar, you end up at an average of $90,000 a year in savings without spending any CapEx and without installing solar. So that's the spread. Those are the savings. It's not that you're getting something for nothing and then this sounds too good to be true. The incentive structure was actually designed so that large energy users would want to participate so they can find meaningful energy savings while displaying environmental stewardship, while practicing business sustainability practices, and while also paving the way for other Illinois residents and small businesses to participate too. I'll go back to where I started this conversation. Large energy users are the tipping point to making community solar work. The incentives are real, the developers need you at the table, and that's exactly why you get to keep a portion of the benefits, which by the way is in the form of guaranteed savings for the life of that contract. Hopefully this helps make community solar make a lot more sense. This is not a loophole. It is state level legislation designed to deploy clean energy. So now you understand that when you subscribe as a large energy user, you are doing a multitude of things. You're unlocking a project, you're helping finance clean energy, you're helping create local jobs, you're paving the way for energy equity. And in exchange for that, you get to keep a portion of the benefits on your utility bill in the form of guaranteed savings. The math works because the incentive structure behind it was designed to make it work. Community solar isn't too good to be true. It's that you are filling a role that the industry desperately needs in order to continue to meet our renewable energy commitments. That's the bottom line. And if you want to see what this looks like for your energy strategy, you can go to communitysolarauthority.com, book a call right on our website, or you can send me a message on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Dakota Malone. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. I hope it was valuable, and we'll catch you on the next one.